Hi Austin area homeowners and home buyers. I'm Eric Peterson, broker at Kopa Real Estate and an Austin homeowner. In this video, let's review the most recent real estate statistics for Austin, Texas and talk about predictions for 2022 and advice for buyers and sellers. So let's get to the statistics. In November 2021, there were 2,976 single-family homes sold in the Austin area, which was down 8.6% from 3,256 sales in November 2020. Average dollars per square foot increased 32% to $272.70, and the average price increased 25.1% to $587,380, and the median price increased to $472,490, which was an increase of 30%. Let's talk about predictions for 2022. Keep in mind, nobody predicted what's happened in the last 2 years. Probably the only thing we can be sure of is something else is going to happen out of the blue that's going to completely change everything. The best advice I can give you for the next 3 months is to buckle up and hold on tight. I'm not saying we're going to see a market like last year. That was likely a once-in-a-lifetime event. But I do expect the Austin area real estate market to pop again in mid-January. We've not seen an increase in listings over the fall and early winter. Previously, I've talked about watching the number of active listings because that inventory will show us where the market's going. We haven't seen the increase in listings required to slow down the market. In addition, my phone is ringing off the hook again with relocation buyers moving to the area. January is usually a great time to buy a home because many buyers or many sellers will be consulting with their realtors in October, November, setting their prices, and they don't reevaluate the market in January. We helped a couple of buyers get great deals at the beginning of last year because of that. If you're selling in January, don't let that happen to you. So what I expect as we get later in the year, I do think we're going to see more and more sellers putting their homes on the market. Many of our potential seller clients are much more motivated this year. I pay attention to whether somebody would like to sell compared to needs to sell. And we're getting contacted by more people this year who need to sell. Overall, and especially in the long term, I'm bullish on the real estate market, but an increase in listings along with higher interest rates may cause a deceleration in appreciating prices. So not to be confused with a crash. So with inflation being at a 30-year high, it's almost assured we'll see higher interest rates later this year. In my opinion, higher rates may affect our area a little bit more than others for one interesting reason. Not only may the higher rates give some buyers pause, but there's also an argument that higher rates will cause a drop in the stock market value of technology companies. Now, of course, part of the reason why our market prices have exploded is we have so many tech employees moving to the area, and many of them have the financial ability to pay way over asking price for a home due to the stock that they've received from their tech companies. So what happens if interest rates move up too fast and the NASDAQ crashes? Well, that would definitely have an impact in Austin real estate prices. So let's hope that doesn't happen. For sellers, if you've already been holding off selling for 2 years, it may be time to put a plan together. Some experts are saying it may take 3 years before things are back to normal. Now, our clients who decided to sell last year all wound up finding another great home and they're in a better place. So one of the fun things for me at this time of the year is to see pictures of their new homes and hanging out with their families, especially if they move closer to home. It's always tricky trying to time any market. That's especially difficult when you're trying to sell a home and buy another home. I must have talked with 10 families lately who are planning to move to Colorado. And many have to remember that you're not selling a home in a vacuum, and they have to consider what the market is like where they're moving to. I appreciate their situation. Everybody wants to sell at exactly the right time for the most money. This chart, though, shows the dramatic drop in active listings for the overall Colorado market. So what that likely means for next year is any extra money you make by delaying your sale here in the Austin area, you'll probably pay even more for a home in Colorado. So if you're relocating out of the area, check out the real estate market wherever you're moving to and see if the next destination is appreciating like this, and consider the overall picture of how that's going to look financially for you selling and buying. For buyers next year, I expect it's going to be more of the same. The best thing that you can do is work with an agent who is active in the market and give you great advice based on what's happening on a daily basis. There are over 18,000 members of the Austin Board of Realtors. And I saw a statistic recently that 60% of realtors haven't sold a single home this year. In my opinion, most buyers in our area do a bad job when selecting the agent to help them with the largest purchase of their lives. We have so many buyers in our area that work in technology, and of course 99% of technology is working towards removing the human aspect of life. And so due to that bias, most buyers around here don't see the value in human interaction. They like to visit open houses and call the listing agent to see homes. This is why our company does so many open houses to respond to how those buyers are buying. And then when they find a home, they like to reach out to several realtors and try to negotiate the best cashback rebate from those realtors. It's short-sighted. What they don't realize is half the offers we receive are dead on arrival because the other agent is either unprofessional, the offer is written so poorly, or the terms are, in the words of a recent seller client, goofy. On some of the personal finance boards I follow, they make it seem like this trying to get a rebate is a good idea. What they don't think is happening is what's really happening. In a conversation about this, I'm usually the only person who has personally reviewed over 2,000 offers with sellers. And I'd like to think that that gives me a pretty good idea of what's really going on, and also a pretty good idea of how to help a buyer structure an offer that's more likely to be accepted. You have to remember something. If it takes you another 6 months for you to get an offer accepted in an appreciating market, that's costing you tens of thousands of dollars compared to that small rebate that you're getting. We just closed a sale where the buyer was working with one of the larger rebate brokerages. The buyer received about a $4,500 rebate from that company. That sounds good, right? Well, we had multiple offers on the home, and the seller had instructed me to tell any agent who contacted me we had multiple offers and the terms of the highest offer to see if anyone wanted to beat that offer. This buyer came to our open house. So I didn't know who his agent was. This often happens. Somebody will come to an open house and then all of a sudden we get an offer. So I didn't know that they were going to even be making an offer. Their agent never contacted me to ask about the other offers, and instead only sent me an offer for $40,000 higher than offer number 2. If they had understood any of the human aspects of real estate, they wouldn't have received a rebate, but they would have saved themselves a ton of money on making this offer. You also want to make sure that you're getting advice from somebody who can help you make decisions based on your own risk tolerance. If you work with an agent that isn't active in the Austin real estate market, they may be too conservative for you. You may wind up losing offer after offer because the agent hasn't been giving you information that's up to date with what's really going on in the market. Finally, this is a great book I just finished reading that can help you make better decisions. I make thousands of decisions every day. It's human nature when you're making a decision to think about it as black and white, or to only think about the results that you get. Well, most decisions, really, it's a 60-40 decision. And especially in real estate, there's so much unknown information and luck impacting the result that it makes it challenging for people to decide and take action. So this book will help you be more comfortable making decisions and analyzing the results from those decisions. Hey, thanks for watching, and I appreciate your support. Please contact us if we can assist you.